But if it is the other way around, that you really want it to work, but the man is making it hard to work, ask yourself this question.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Loaded Couple. Today we have a special guest in the house. But before we start the podcast, I discovered that 85% of people who views and watch our channel, our videos, doesn't subscribe. Can you do me a favor and please click that subscribe button? Thank you very much. This will encourage us to make more content and videos for you. God bless you in Jesus' name as you do so. So I have a special friend and brother in the house today. Welcome, additional to the Loaded Couple.
Thank you for having me.
Firstly, are you happy?
Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy with life. I'm happy how far God has brought me. I'm happy with my marriage. Though I'm not here where I want to be yet, but we give glory to God.
That's interesting because sometimes we think we haven't got everything we wanted, but if we should look back where we have been and what we have been through, we just have to give God the glory and thank God for where we are, and just creates that environment of joy and happiness for ourselves because we have hope in the Lord.
Yes, yes,
So nice to have you once again. I'm glad you are here. It's been a very wonderful time in the past. We've had wonderful memories together, living together. Poland or UK, which one do you prefer?
I'll say Poland.
Poland?
Yeah.
Why Poland?
Poland is more peaceful, and you have that relative ease while working, while studying. It is not as coercive as it is here in the UK. Economically, UK is better, but the quality of life in Poland is much better than here in the UK.
Interesting. All right. So, how did you and your partner meet?
Okay, I met my wife, I think November 2018, in a prayer mountain. My brother-in-law owns a prayer mountain in my wife's village. So, in those days, I used to go to the mountain every Wednesday, and one of those days, she just finished her NYC service and she came with her mom, and we met on the mountain a few times without speaking to each other. And so one day, the prophet of the mountain fixed the program on another mountain, and she was out of those who are selected to go. So we are in the same car. Two of us sat at the back and we were just discussing generally. So on our way back from the mountain, and as she was about to drop off at Shagam, I just asked her for her contact.
So, in the mountain, on the land. So you have been watching her, looking at her, shadowing now the mountain while prayer is going on.
Yes.
Deep brother.
The Bible says watch and pray.
No.
So as I was praying, I was watching her seriousness, her commitment with God.
Okay.
And from the little discussion we had in the car, I was able to get her perspective and how intelligent she was. And I was able to draw a conclusion that she's worth knowing. So I determined that before we depart, I am going to get a number and be friend.
That is deep. That is deep.
What really attracts me to her, number one, is her composure. Because I don't know her, but her body language, her composure, and the way I discover she's a very reserved person. And this is what is missing in me. Because me, anywhere I go, in few seconds, everybody already knows me. And she's a type of person that she's more withdrawn. And that's really gave me the curiosity to know her more. And that's the first thing that attracted me to her.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you pray about it, and how did you hear from God that
Prayer is not the first thing.
okay, what is the first thing?
The first thing is getting to know her. So when I got her contact, we started sending message to each other. Then from our conversation, I asked her what she wants. I discovered that our goals and our future plans aligns. Her perspective with mine aligns. The way she thinks aligns with mine. Then, having this in mind, then I told the pastor, that's this lady, and the pastor told me little about
And you haven't prayed then?
I haven't prayed about it then,
Okay.
because to me, I don't see the essence of going to God to ask God, should I marry this person that I did not know, or someone that I know this person doesn't align with me. Their belief system, the orientation they have doesn't align with mine. So praying to God is like setting myself for failure. If we are not both aligned spiritually, mentally, if our goals doesn't align,
Your mental belief system doesn't align. There's
doesn't
no
align
need for
together.
praying.
There's no need for me going to God to pray. So when I established these facts, and I told my pastor, and my pastor said, okay, we need to pray. So I went on a 7 days fasting.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I started praying to God about it. And after my prayer, I asked her, are you dating anyone? She said no. And I said, do you have anyone in mind? She said yes. I said, who is the person? So she was describing me. So as she was describing me, so I asked her, are you describing me? And she said yes.
Wow.
And she said she would like to go into a relationship with me. And I said,
even before you ask her out?
Yes.
So that means she has been trusting God for you, for the right opportunity and time.
She told me after she finished her NYC, she prayed to God that God give me a God-fearing relationship, a God-fearing man, someone who understands God, someone who knows God. So I was just an answer prayer, because most of the thing we talk about when we chat is about Bible characters, Bible study. When she reads a verse, we discuss it.
Then as a friend,
you understand. So, and every Wednesday we meet on the mountain.
You people are on the mountain, people.
So it was a chemistry between us that we couldn't ignore. So
the point of chemistry is on the mountain.
It's on the mountain. Yeah.
Wow.
I was working as a personal assistant to the prophet on the mountain. So I was every day on her face. You understand? So she was seeing me often, and she's seen my commitment, and I think that is what really, really gets her mind on me. Actually,
that is interesting, and it was a very wonderful experience knowing her through that platform of a gathering of believers coming together to pray at that moment.
Yes.
It's a wonderful one. How is life after wedding?
Okay, our case is a bit unique, and after wedding, I was in Poland, she was in Nigeria during our courtship. So she moved to the UK, and I was in Poland, so we both went back to Nigeria for our wedding, and we spent just 3 days in Nigeria after the wedding. I went back to Poland, she came back to the UK, and I think for 7 months we were both away. I was in Poland, she was in the UK. So it's about communication. So when I came to the UK, when I joined her, we haven't lived together before. In fact, it was a new experience. You know, you discover a lot of things about you, living with someone, and it is not as straightforward in the beginning. So there are a lot of adjustments we both have to make, and it's about you guys understanding that you guys are coming from different background, different environment, different parents, and you have different characters. So we understand that we have to work up on each other and to make this marriage work. So from the very start, I believe putting in the work, and I usually tell her you have to put in the work. We can't say this is who I am and this is how I will live my life. It doesn't concern you. No, it's not going to work that way. So the first thing we did was when we started having some alteration, maybe stuff like me putting my clothes anywhere I like.
You're like that too.
Yeah. So or me requesting this kind of food in a particular time, which is not convenient for her. So there are some things I started adjusting about myself, and everything works well now.
That's good to hear. And when you were in Poland and she was in Nigeria, how do you undo long distance relationship?
Okay. Our relationship has been like a long distance relationship. Though we were both, when I was in Nigeria, we were both in Lagos. She was staying in the other side of Lagos. We see maybe once in a month. So most times she visits me whenever I'm with my brother. Most times we go to the shop right together. So it's been a conversation. Most of our conversation has been on the phone. So it doesn't really feel like we started something new. It has been something we've been doing. Most of our conversation has been online. Whenever I visit her, it's just maybe once in a week. It was when we started planning the wedding that we started meeting frequently to get to know each other more. So the long distance relationship, my wife is not a talking person. She believes when you call me once in the morning, that's enough till when we're about to sleep. That's her belief. And she's a very, very she's an introvert to the core. So why myself, me, I like talking. So
really?
Yeah, I like talking.
With whom you are close to?
Yes, I like to share my day. I like to express myself in the best appropriate way. So why she's a more reserved person. So I just understand.
I think she's smiling. Look at her.
The thing is, I just have to move to a level. Why I also encourage her to come up so we could meet somewhere. So whenever we have issue, especially with communication, and we discuss with some of our brothers and our pastors and counselors, that is the advice. I shouldn't expect her to meet me up there. Why she shouldn't expect me to meet her down there. She should come up a bit while I come down a bit, and we'll be able to.
It should be a meeting point, a convergence point, where you balance everything. That's good. And what have you learned about patience in marriage generally?
Oh, that's a big thing. I think this is one thing that people don't understand. For the fact that you guys are not brought up in the same household has to do with you understanding that two people cannot be the same. Even twins, you can't be the same. You can't have the same character, the same habits. I've lived my life 30 years before meeting her. She's lived her life for 20-something years before meeting me. And I have to understand that it's going to take time for her to adjust to my level. And she has to understand that it's going to take time for me to adjust to her level. So this is where patience comes in. There's no time gap. It's you having that basic understanding that this is going to take some time. And I think the number one virtue of a man or anyone in marriage is patience. If you are not patient enough, it's not going to work, because sometimes you don't get things the way you want it, and you have to understand that fact, that you just have to be patient. So patience is a virtue that everyone must try and cultivate, no matter how intolerable you are, no matter how things. Time heals everything. Time deals with everything. Even that rage, that anger in you, if you give it time, it will subside. So, for me, before marriage, okay, let me say this. The first time I met my father-in-law, my wife's father, the first thing he said to me is that you have to be patient with women. That's the first thing he said to me. The first advice. He told me, if you want to deal with a woman in your life, you have to be very, very patient. And I hold it key. Whenever I want to explode, whenever I want to keep malice, whenever I want to do something irrational, I always remember his advice. Be patient. And it has really, really helped us. There are some times that things are on the high side. Patience will help you bring it down. So it's a virtue everyone must cultivate.
Wow, that's a good one. So patience is a very important virtue in marriage, because it's very important, because many people are struggling to forgive each other, and it's because of lack of patience, because any little thing can escalate to a bigger problem. Or
the thing about quarreling, or if you are patient enough, that quarreling will not start in the first place. You understand? Because when someone hurts you, things you should not talk about, things you should just wave off, that should have caused the main argument, that will not occur. So when you are able to tolerate people, when you are able to tolerate your spouse, that very thing that should cause that issue has been dealt with. So there is no argument, there is no much argument, because there is a lot of patience. There's no strife, because there is a lot of patience. You understand? So the main problem, things that can cause issue, are being dealt with patience, with tolerance. So the marriage, you can go 6 months, 1 year without having any arguments with each other.
It's possible.
Yes, because if you are very, very tolerant, if your tolerance,
that means you have to come down to the lowest level.
If you want peace, even if someone wants to fight you, and if you decide that this is what I want, because me, I've studied myself, I cannot live where there is no peace. In fact, I cannot live 1 hour with someone who is not peaceful, who is not happy, who is not joyful. So for me to have a very good life, so I must create an environment that is peaceful. So my own decision to get angry or not to get angry will determine my own peace of life too.
So you are in control of
my anger, of my life, of my peace. So even if you want to trouble me, I will decide that, okay, I want to take this up with you. I do not want to take this up with you. Just like in an argument, I can just decide, okay, you win. Even when I know you don't win, that what you are saying is wrong, I'll just say, okay, I've argued, you are the winner.
That is wisdom. Dale Carnegie, he said something. He said, if you want to win somebody over to yourself, don't argue, or don't try to win an argument with him. Because when you argue with someone and you try to win that argument, you have lost that relationship. But when you argue and you let that person win over and over again, you have won that person to yourself.
You know, when we first started, I'm from a tribe in Nigeria that we believe we like arguments. And my wife always says then that, Omo Ikiti, they like arguments. So I started working on myself. Though most times I know what I'm saying is right. Like there is facts, I can present the facts, but you know, you should not always focus on winning the argument. You should focus on the peace. So I stopped arguing, whenever most women are very forgetful. So whenever she forgets something and she thinks that, okay, this is what I said I will do, and she forgot about it, and I will be telling her, this is what you said, this is what you said, and she will insist that this is not what I said, being forgetful. So I just have to say, okay, about you, this is what you said, just to have peace.
Peace. Very important.
It's very, very important.
What is the funniest thing that has ever happened to both of you?
Funniest. Okay. It's I think the funniest thing is investment. And it happens like she's about entering some investment, and I was a bit skeptical about it. I was telling her not to put everything into the investment, and she was like, no, let's risk it all.
Risk it all.
Yeah, and I was saying no. Eventually, the table turns. I was the one risking it all on the same investment.
Okay.
While she was the one saying, let's be cautious. You understand? And it's a bit funny because I'm the skeptical type. I like risk, but I like to take calculated risk. And she is not even the type that always go for things like that. She's also very, very reserved in her finances and this particular investment, and she was saying she's going to risk it all. And I was saying it doesn't make sense. Even for you as a person. My wife that I know will not do this. But she put everything in, and it was very, very rewarding. It was very, very rewarding that we made a lot of money out of it. And going forward, whenever she brings up that idea, I will have second thought. So,
wow, that's interesting. I know your wife to be a very prudent and lovely person, and I believe she's a wonderful gift to you, and you should always appreciate that. So how do you appreciate her?
Okay. One thing I discovered about my wife is that she doesn't ask much. She's not that kind of person that love flamboyant life. So even on her birthday, when you ask her what do you want, she'll tell you she doesn't know.
Really?
Yeah. So anything you give out of your goodwill, she always appreciates. You understand? So what I do most times is vacation. I just want to give her some break. Stop working. Let's enjoy. Let's go out together. And even if she's skeptical at the beginning, this thing is going to cost us a lot. This is going to cost us a lot. So when she gets into the mood of the holiday, she forgets all those things and she's always happy about it.
So how do you agree on holiday, like locations, where to go?
We don't even have issue with that. If it's some places that we like or some places that we haven't visited before, it's fine.
Right.
So we don't have any issue with holiday venue, just a place that is big enough to explore, just a new place we haven't been to. So we don't have issue with holidays, vacation venues.
What is your advice for couples in United Kingdom or in abroad generally? Nigerian couples or African couples in diaspora?
The number one thing is integration.
What do you mean by integration?
Yeah, I mean, there is a way of life here in abroad. There is a rule of law that has to be followed. For you not to lose your home, especially for men who has the oligarchy mentality, where you want to be in charge, you want to be in control of everything in your home, you have to let go of some things. You have to understand the fact that where you are right now is different back home, where you can do the alpha and omega of everything.
And nobody questions you.
And nobody questions you. Here in the civilized world, everything has to be regulated. you have to know that life is not all about you. Marriage is not all about you. It's the union between male and female. I used to tell my friends that women too have destiny. They have purpose in life. As a man, you shouldn't use your purpose to override the purpose of the woman. Let her flourish. Let her fulfill destiny too. So
she has her own life.
She has her own life too. So you have to let her flourish. There is a book by, I think, Samadi Emi about marriage, where he talks about hunter husband and gardener husband. An hunter husband is a type of person that can capture a fine girl, a fine woman, make her his wife, and devour her, and she is reduced to nothing. While a gardener husband will guide the woman, will help her, we encourage her, invest in her, for her to flourish and become a beautiful garden. Not to turn her into a carcass, not to turn her into empty bones. So here in abroad, the environment should give you the kind of mentality that you will allow your wife to flourish. You will keep encouraging her, keep helping her. The oligarchy way our forefathers lived, I'm sorry, it cannot work here. Because the law supports the woman, not in a bad way as we all seems it is as men, that they have everything. But it's just to protect them from the kind of mentality the women have as the controller and the alpha and omega of a woman. So help your woman, encourage her, don't overwork her, and let her flourish, let her live, let her fulfill purpose. There are families where the woman will go to work. Even in this Western world, the woman will go to work. She'll be the one to take care of the children. She'll be the one to cook. She'll be the one to take care of the house. And she's still working. And the man will just go to work and says, I'm tired. And
doing nothing.
Do nothing when you come to the house. It's not right. It's not the best way to live. Sometimes I cook. Sometimes she cook. There are some food my wife cooks better than me. There are some food I cook better than my wife.
Awesome.
So once she feels like eating my food, she'll tell me, Ade, cook this thing for us. Let's eat this. And whenever I feel like eating what she knows how to cook more, I tell her. Growing up, I'm not from a very rich family. We never had a fridge in my house.
Wow.
So we cooked fresh meal. Even when I was a bachelor back in Nigeria, I cooked my meal fresh. But when I got married here in abroad, my wife, she's been living like that. From her parents are very well-to-do, and they have all these things, amenities. So they cooked and keep in the fridge. And me, I'm not used to it. But I understand that for her to have peace of mind, she has to cook one day and keep in the fridge. Then we can serve it in portion. Though I don't like it from the beginning, but I have to adjust because I can't expect her to cook every day for me. So these are the things, the little adjustments that has to be made. And on the woman part, because I have to balance this,
right.
On the woman part, do not lose all your value because you are in the Western world. Do not lose that respect you have for your man, even if you are earning your own money. Marriage should be the way God designs it. The man as the head, the woman as a supporting, as an helper. So you should respect your man, even if you are earning more. You should not look at the Western world the way marriage is being carried out. You should still give that reference, you should still give that honor to your husband. That's all.
Looking at the environment and many marriages now, where some women, they just decided to change after getting abroad, and they change to another person entirely from who they were back at home. Even some send their husband out packing. Some, when they get the mortgage, they collect the house and they send the man back to. They can call the police, or you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
What do you think goes wrong along the line? What do you think happened that when they get abroad, some men are doing that as well, but it tends to happen between
More from the woman's
from the
side.
women, yeah.
What I think happened is before coming to Nigeria, is everything well back home? That's the question we should ask. Or is she just managing because of the environment? So, for instance, she was in Nigeria, she was the one taking care of the children, taking care of the house, while she's not working. The man is the sole provider. But when we moved abroad and she has to work and she still has to submit, she still has to take care of the child, she still has to take care of the home. And this is where things get haywire and she starts, she wants to readjust. But the man is not giving her the opportunity to readjust to retrieve things. She can go haywire. That is not the only cause. We have different kind of human beings, both male and female. Some people pretend to be who they are not. When people are confined in the sense that they don't have the resources to speak out, they don't have the resources to act themselves. So they are submissive because they don't have the money. And whenever they move abroad, their real color starts to change, to show. So the thing is, who are you and what are you hiding? What is your true nature? What is your true color? The true color might not show when you don't have anything, but when they come here, they now earn in pounds, they now earn in dollars, and they now want to show themselves that, okay, I have my own money, I can have my freedom too. So you have to understand the basic why a lot of ladies get married in Nigeria is for security, financial security. They go into a lot of marriage because they want a man that can take care of them. So when they now come to abroad, they can now take care of themselves. So the essence,
there's no need for
marriage is now nullified. Do you understand? So it depends on who they really are and what they really want to do whenever they have financial freedom. So it's a dicey thing. There is no one way to this thing. People are different. If you are so heartless that a man brings you abroad and is a very good man to you, and you are very heartless to turn the other side, then you've been an heartless person from the start. You're just pretending.
The money just reveals who you
are. But if it is the other way around, that you really want it to work, but the man is making it hard to work, ask yourself this question. If you are in Nigeria, will you kick the man out? Ask yourself this question. What will God say about the situation? Ask yourself this question. What will be my gain? What will be the gain of the children I have? A broken home, as the children feel the highest effects. And look at it, your freedom, does it really worth it? Does it worth your salvation? Does it worth the future of your children? Does it even worth it in your old age? Because everything we do today is like we are keeping a record of it all. Everything will be reviewed in time. So if you have the right mind and you think you can endure, I'm speaking to all men, be reasonable with your wife. Be reasonable with your wife. If the woman is trying her best to make this work, please let it work. But in a case, Pastor, in a case where one party is tired of the marriage, that is the most difficult thing to resolve in marriage. When one is adamant that I've had enough, no matter how good or how hard that the other party tries, it's not going to work.
It's not.
So it's a thing that we all have to sit down and find the root cause. Specifically for each marriage. If the man is looking outside, no matter what the woman does, only God can change the man's heart. No matter what the woman does, only God can change the man's heart. So if it's the case of the woman, no matter what the man has put in place, no matter how westernized he is, the woman is still going to go. So it depends on each marriage.
Well, thank you very much for coming, and this has been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you for
having this with you. Has been a blessing to me, especially. Thank you very much for coming. I hope when I call you again, you will honor our invite.
Anytime, sir.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful one, and thanks to your beautiful wife. She's there. Thanks for allowing him to come over. Thank you very much. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching. So if you have enjoyed this conversation and you want us to have more of this, more couples on our show, please drop your favorite couples on the comment section. And also I want you to subscribe and like and share this video so that we can have more subscribers to reach more audience. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Have a wonderful one.